So now I want to show you how to do understitching. Stitching. This is the wrong side of this fabric. This is the wrong side of the. I'm using a linen. So understitching, you normally see it in a lot of foreign outfits. You understand? It's normally done around the neck hole or the armhole. This is to prevent the linen from ever coming to the front, as in from ever being seen. Understitching holds the linen in place, so no matter what the person is doing, no matter how you're twisting your neck or twisting your arm, the linen will never shoot out from inside the garment. It will always stay pinned inside the garment. The reason for this is understitching. If you do not do understitching and you sew on linen, it might be sticking out sometimes, which is not a good finishing at all. So in this tutorial, I'll show you how to do understitching. First of all, you run a stitch from the beginning of the fabric to the end of the fabric. I'm going to run a seam of 1/2 inch allowance. So after doing the stitch, as you can see, I've done the stitch on both sides. It's now time to do the understitching. And you can also press here. So now, as you can see, after doing the first stitching, I pressed here so you see the demarcation. So this is the right side of the garment. This is the wrong side of the garments. This is the right side of the garments. This is the wrong side. Now, on this wrong side, we would sew another stitch, sticking the seam allowance to the linen. Okay, this is the linen. This is the seam allowance. We'll sew a stitch of about 1/4 of an inch, very close to the first seam that is joining the two fabrics. We'll sew a stitch of about 1/4 an inch down, and that is what is called understitching. So I'll do that now. And there you have it. We have sewn a stitch. If you look here, you see 2 stitches. One is the normal stitch, the other one is the understitch. The understitch is the one that attaches the seam allowance to the linen. So no matter what happens now, this linen can never go up on this line. It can never go above this line. And that is why we use it for neck holes, or we use it for armholes, because once it can't go above this line, it can never show. It can never show in the fabric. It can never show on the outfit. So if I iron this now to impersonate the fabric, you see that no matter what I do, this linen will never show up here. So you see how neat the front looks. This is like the front of the garment, the right side of the garment, the place that everyone sees when someone wears a garment. And see the back, still neat, and no matter how I do this, it will never go up to the front of the garment. No matter what I do at the back, you will never see this on the front of the garments. You will never see it. No matter how I'm using this, unless the person now shows the back. It helps to secure the linen in place so it never rises to the front of the garment and no one ever sees the linen. I used a white linen with a blue satin fabric just as an example for this tutorial, and I used green thread just so that you see the thread clearly. I used green thread so you see the clear thread, you see the thread clearly and see that the thread doesn't show on this side but it's showing on this side, so that you understand this tutorial better. And here I show you again the inside of the garment. The first stitch is the main stitch and the second one is the understitching. The second one is the one that attaches this seam allowance to the linen. This is what is normally used in most professional finishes. They even use I just use this much gaps, this much gap so that you can actually see the seam. Okay, so you can understand this tutorial. Normally I will use shorter. If I'm sewing this for a client, I will use 1/8 of an inch for this understitching. I'll use 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was very clear. If you have any questions, just drop it below in the comment box and I'll answer you. I'll get back to you shortly. All right, thank you.